Hello and welcome once again. If you are hearing my voice, then you are in the right place. My name is Juan, here with Kevin and Mark, and you already know we like movies. And today we will be discussing Mark's pick, which is The Gray Man, a 2022 film directed by the Russo brothers and starring Ryan Gosling and Anna de Armas, with appearances from Billy what's his name again? Billy Arth
Billy
Billy
Bob,
Arth
Billy Bob, Billy
Billy
Bob.
Bob Billy Bob Billy Bob Thornton and a few others. But before we begin our discussion, I'll tell you a little bit about the movie. I'll give you a warning that we do discuss spoilers here. So if you haven't seen it, pause, go watch it, and come on back. But The Gray Man is a movie about a very, very secret group of spies who were in prison and then were recruited from there to basically have their life sentences or their long sentences sort of replaced with just being servants of the government who have no history and are basically stuck there for the rest of their lives to be trained as killing machines. Who do the government's bidding. This particular spy, who goes by the name of Six, he on his latest mission, he uncovers a secret, which now places him as the person being pursued. But he is the best of the best, so he sure gives them their money's worth. And as they pursue him around the world, not only is he, trying to get this secret into the right hands in order to punish the culpable parties for these wrongdoings, he's also trying to save a little girl who was his boss's daughter, who he bonded with. That's all I'll tell you about that at this point. But that is The Gray Man. Mark, this was your pick, so why don't you start us off?
I have to say before I get into it, I have to apologize that I have not been bringing more Seinfeld references into our podcast. Because as you were talking about the best, I was going, the best, Jerry, the best. So I need to start bringing more Seinfeld, references. So, yeah, I'm going to start doing that. I thank you for that, and just know that it's going to happen. So anyways, back to the movie. My pick for The Gray Man was solely on the fact that my favorite MCU movie, that's Marvel Cinematic Universe for those who don't know, my favorite MCU movie is Captain America Winter Soldier. To this day, with everything still out, it still holds as my top movie. So seeing Russo, huh? Oh, thank you.
So, yeah.
Seeing the Russos, seeing Chris Evans, I was just like, this is a no-brainer for me. You throw in Ryan Gosling, and I mean, my heart's just beating a mile a minute. With that being said, I do think there was a missed opportunity. We didn't get as much Gosling Evans as I was hoping for. Evans did great, Gosling did great, but just the way the movie was being presented to me, I feel like they were, I don't know, it's kind of like a bait and switch. So that ended up being a little flat for me. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. There was a lot of missteps, a lot of missed opportunities, and yeah, that's my hot five for The Gray Man.
Well, I hope you made a list because I want to hear every single one of them.
What do you mean? List of what?
The missteps and the misfirings.
I don't know if we have enough time.
Okay.
That's
Kevin?
me. All right. Here goes. Sometimes when a movie hits so good, we add a little note that you should pause this podcast and go watch that movie. I will save you the time and tell you not to bother ever in your life. When used as an adjective, the definition of the word pedestrian is lacking inspiration or excitement, dull. And that describes this movie perfectly. It was a simple plug and play template. If this was a coloring book, it would be a color by numbers coloring book, but you were only allowed to use the color gray. When one of my most positive notes is literally the sound editing is outstanding,
Mm-hmm.
your action movie has a problem.
Mm.
Also, I don't get the insistence of having fight scenes in poorly lit settings. That I found myself literally thanking God and rooting for that sunrise in that final fight scene. Like it was my favorite. I'm like, yes, you're here. With a budget of 200 million, I wish they would have spent some more time on the script instead of just shooing in one of the directors in a cameo at the end. And I think I might be more upset about this movie because I really looked forward to watching it, and I was hoping one of us would pick it. It was on my list. So when I saw it, I'm like, again, I think the actors did a good job. I don't think the story was that great, and I feel the Russo brothers. I've never saw Extraction, but
Okay.
I was just thinking, I'm like, when we saw the Captain Americas and the Avengers, those were all characters that were developed beforehand that they got to play with. I felt like they were creating their own world, and like there was nothing like that hit because they were just added in. They were just all right. This is what we're gonna do. You have to feel for them. And if that was Captain America fighting someone else, we may have felt for them because they were developed by other people. It's just there was nothing here that really like hit or compound on anything. I like most of the scenes we've seen, like a lot of stuff we've seen before. There was some cute moments with the train, at the very end of the train scene, and even the final rescue scene. But other than that, like I said, it's like we've seen cool action scenes in John Wick that push the boundaries and stuff. This just felt like it was just here he is. Oh, we had $200 million, and this is what we're gonna do because that's it.
Money to
And that's
burn,
my
baby.
that's five. That's my little 5 minute take.
Mm, I loved it.
Well, thank you for that. I could not disagree with you more.
Uh,
Um, I will start off by saying that I was, unlike you, prepared for this movie to suck a big one because, again, I created my Instagram account just to follow movie accounts and to promote our movie account. And so all these people that I follow were just saying, this movie sucks. This movie sucks. The story was terrible. The acting, except for Ryan Gosling, was terrible. The story it sucked. Like everything about this movie was terrible. So when Mark picked it, I was like, oh boy, just prepared for it to be terrible. But man, I loved this movie. I I do understand. Like you've seen this plot before. The spy discovers that the people he works for are actually doing bad things. Now he knows too much. Now they're coming after him. We've seen that. The side plot with the girl was, I think, something that was added there to give you more background about the character for you to connect with. It was a nice little touch, I felt, and I enjoyed it because it had good acting. That little girl, if you remember, was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But dude, I thought, I mean, in my opinion, there's no one right now that does action better than the Russo brothers. And again, I don't think I didn't need this to be this, intricate, complex, story or who done it or whatever. It was it was enough to just be able to set up some of these incredible, amazing action sequences. And Ryan Gosling, knocked it out of the park. Chris Evans was not my favorite in this role, but he did a good job. One of the critiques that I heard was that he did terrible acting in this movie. I didn't think so. I thought he acted um, to what his character required really well. Um, and yeah, even like I thought the ending was an awesome ending that built up, and did not disappoint. Like it was, there was so much going on. Yeah, I was incredibly surprised by how much I liked this movie, how much, I was never bored. And I get it. It was pretty predictable, but again, I didn't need it to be unpredictable. It was entertaining. It had stuff that I, had never seen before, and we've never seen Ryan Gosling at this level, as an action star. But and I thought he did a phenomenal job, and I thought it was awesome.
I am absolutely blown away by that. I really thought you were gonna come into this like, yeah, I knew it was gonna be hot garbage, and boy, was I right. It was hot garbage.
Nope.
So yeah, I am incredibly, uh, I'm at a loss for words.
I was
Flabbergasted.
I was it didn't, because I was already expecting it to be bad.
Yeah.
It didn't start off good when it was
Yeah.
like him and Billy Bob Thornton and they're talking about the bubble gum. I'm
His
like,
whole
okay,
CGI thing was terrible. He looked weird.
yes,
Like
yes,
his head was
yeah,
super small. I'm
yeah,
like, dude, what is going on? What happened to Billy Bob? Is he not alive anymore? And they had to CGI him in, but now I understand they had to make him younger
Oh,
yeah.
looking.
that's what happened. I did not know
Bro,
why that was like
that
that. I
was
was like,
horrendous. That was so bad. But continue. Sorry.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. So that had me a little nervous. And then he's off on this mission. He's wearing the red suit. Him and the girl talk about the red suit. I'm like, okay, good lord. And then but then when things switch up and then it's like him in slow motion, like walking behind those guys and like taking them out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm
While the
digging.
fireworks are going off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm digging this. And then when they jump into the fireworks thing and they're fighting in there, dude, that was an awesome sequence. Like Kevin talked about the sound, bro, the visuals in
Yeah.
this movie were like incredible, man. The use of color. I mean, sometimes you just got to appreciate something being cool, you know?
I yeah, I didn't feel like the fight scenes were that dark, so I was
Yeah, I didn't
interesting to
I
hear
didn't
that,
get that
Kevin.
at all
Because
either.
I mean that major fireworks scene, that was they were pitch black basically, and there was just, the flashes coming out and the smoke, but it still looked
it
fine. Everything looked great.
it might have been more that like towards those final fights when Anna was fighting that guy, and then when they were like fighting each other, even when he kidnapped the girl, like Chris Evans, he took her. Like I don't know if it was just my TV. I even adjusted in the middle of the movie to try to make it brighter. I was like, all right, I can barely tell what's going on, and like
Oh,
it was just rough. Like I
interesting.
put everything bright. I was like,
I
all right, let's.
I didn't have that. I didn't have.
Yeah, same as
Um,
I, bro. Just go to the eye doctor.
well, I'm gonna tell you why this wasn't a home run for me. I would say this is like a it was a nice RBI double. You're not mad at that, but also that's not gonna win you a game. Uh, I really felt by the end of it, like I thought Chris Evans was fine. I think he acted his part perfectly, but also I think that was a problem for me, is that I feel like the Russo brothers like, hey man, I know you're coming in and you've been Captain America for so long. Well, we're gonna do the complete opposite, and we're gonna make you the biggest d bag in the world. Everything you say is just gonna be
Yeah,
just a hole, like just no one's gonna like you. And I felt he did that beautifully. Like the
yeah,
things he was saying were hilarious. I mean, he was very cutting. He did what he was supposed to do. So I think that was just a little too much, though. Like, okay, I
yeah,
get it. He's had a nice, clean couple of years in cinema for so long because he's been stuck in this role. But it would just felt a little too much. But also, I really hated the fact that he didn't get to interact much with Six, when his prime objective was to get Six. I understand, he found Fitzroy, he got the kid. He was doing all these things to get Six, but like it just ended up him being in the director's chair when he should have been there. Like he said it himself, you know, like I'm the best. You can't teach what I do. And I was just like, then why are you there? Like, why are you sitting behind the scenes if you're the best at what you do and you're saying that you know and you can't teach what you do, then why are you not doing it? You know? So that kind of stuck with me. And that might be a nitpick, but it kind of ruined it for me because I was really expecting like a cat and mouse movie between Evans and Gosling.
Yeah.
And like even when they were on the plane, they're like, "Who's the closest team?" Like, we are. I'm like, "Oh, now we're gonna get him. You know, he's gonna get from behind the scenes and get his hands dirty."
Yeah.
And then he just
Yeah.
sends like 50 people after the guy.
Right. So I think that was the most frustrating thing for me because I didn't really care about the cookie cutter story. Yeah, organization, blah blah blah, bad people doing good things. Yeah, okay, I get that. I'm not worried about that. I think I was just frustrated about the different things that they decided to do, which just kind of frustrated me. And I guess that's my own fault. I shouldn't have walked in with my own idea of how the movie should have been. But it just the way the trailers had it going and the way they were talking about it, it really seemed like we
Yeah.
have Lloyd Hansen chasing Six the whole movie.
Yeah.
So that was just tough for me, and that was the biggest thing that just kind of killed it for me,
Mm.
because like Evans kept saying things that were right, and I'm just like, but dude, everything you're saying is right, but you're doing all the wrong things.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating. But
Yeah.
outside of that, man, Anna de Armas did fantastic.
Yeah.
The guy, the assassin that they sent, I
Oh
loved it. He
yeah.
was just like, "Yo, you're killing women and kids. All right, I'm out. I'm done."
Yeah.
I everything else was great. The fact that he went to Margaret's house, he sent her the thumb, like everything just was laid out perfectly. I just feel like what was, and this is why I don't normally watch trailers anymore, but what was presented in trailers and what I walked into expecting wasn't what I got, and that's what kind of killed it for me.
Yeah, I think that's a fair critique, and it was definitely promoted that way. So I could see why you had such high hopes for that showdown,
Yeah.
which I think the way they went about it was just building up the anticipation until that final showdown,
Yeah.
which apparently wasn't enough for you. But I think I relate. It's just that I eventually just became more invested and enthralled by
Mhm.
the idea of like, okay, they're clearly sending everything after this man.
Yeah.
So just like getting wrapped up in like he's so good, like he finds ways to like get out of it, and like was the full package, like he could fight, but he was also like ridiculously smart and like good with guns and like everything. So it for me it was like more like, wow, now it's not him against Evans, or even against this squadron. It's like freaking they're sending the whole battalion freaking after him, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think to me, at least what that added to is when I was watching, I was like, all right, you said 50 people, you can shoot a rocket at the guy, he'll probably like just flip it back at you. You know what I mean? Like he became such a super person that I never thought he was in there. I did think he was in danger in the final fight. When he was actually getting cut, I was like, oh, is he gonna die in this final fight? But before that, like I never thought that he was. Even when he got shot, I'm like, oh, he got hurt apparently. You know what
See,
I
I
mean?
don't know, man. Like for me, the best scene in the whole movie was that scene when they're out in the park and he gets handcuffed to the bench. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
whole thing was just great, man.
Yeah.
You had red team, blue team come in, and it signifies it with the colors of the cars. You have the police that are coming, like just everything that's going on, and then you have got Six who's sitting there handcuffed, and he's just he's just calmly moving from
Yeah.
left to right, looking. And I think the reason he was just so calm that he was able to do what he needed to do, but I never felt like he was overpowered. I
Mm-hmm.
just felt like he was in control the whole time, and that's different,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know.
No, but that's even when there's like 50. No, and again, I don't think it was necessarily a problem. I'm just saying, like, I never, even in that scene, I thought that scene, like, my favorite part of that scene is when he shot the gun and then tried to shoot the handcuffs. And he was out
Yeah.
of bullet.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought that part, like, that was a nice little thing. But like, I never once thought like any of these things were were endangering him at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's why my favorite part of even that whole bus scene when they were chasing him was the end after everything crashes and he just walks out and he just looks. I was like, I don't know why. I just like that scene, that shot. And then I was like, all right, now get in the car that's messed up and drive off. And he's barely scratched up.
It's funny you're saying that was your favorite scene when you're also saying that's the reason why you didn't like the
No,
movie.
that's my favorite shot. That's one of my favorite shots. Everything that happened before that, I was like, okay, so he's gonna jump out of the car. Oh, he got caught. All right, he killed that guy. Let's move. But like, so once that was passed, because I'm not gonna lie, like it was happening, but to me it was more boring. Like it was to me, it was just like, all right, so much happening. All right, cool. And then it was that cool shot. I was like, hey, that shot's cool. But that was
Yeah.
like after all the action shot because that train was folded around and then got in the car. Like that I liked because I thought it was a cool little shot. The action scene that preceded it, I was just like, all right. And it might have been just like it really did start off and just start going action, action, action. That just felt like there was to me there was nothing. There was barely any build up. There was a little bit with the girl with the flashback, and I do like that. It's just another Thursday line which they called back to. That was okay. Like I said, and again, I'm not telling y'all that it was a horrible movie. I liked most of the acting. I did for Chris Evans feel just like he was Johnny Storm on like steroids. But other than that, like I said, like the act, there's none of that, right? It just when I watched it, it just to me was just blah. Like it just was there. Like I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it was a great movie. It just felt like it was I don't know, it was about a rain or something. I'm like I just didn't find most of it entertaining. Like Juan used the word enthralled. I was not enthralled by almost anything, except like I
Maybe
said, except that rescue scene at the end. I felt showed the potential of what they could have done when she's listening to the music and it's going on while he's killing everyone outside and comes to get her. I was like, all right, you know what? Like I really like the way that was framed and everything. But like I said, the other action scenes, like I said, they just didn't hit for me.
maybe you're just enthrallable.
Oh, that should be a
Unenthrallable.
He's
Dude.
numb. He's numb to it now.
Yeah.
dude.
No,
That's gonna be my
well,
tag.
you guys know that I can be a bit of a snob, and
No.
yeah, it's true, it's true.
Those movie courses.
But so yeah, for this movie, you do have to suspend a lot of, okay, this obviously it's an action movie, and
it's a popcorn flick, bro.
yeah,
That's
it's a
what this
very
is.
over the
100%.
top action flick,
Yeah.
and so once you do that, or I don't know, for me it was very easy to do that because I it had a lot of elements that worked, I felt, and I really enjoyed it. And honestly, as I was like thinking about just us recording, and sort of going back and thinking through it, I was thinking, because again, I just heard so many opinions bashing this movie, that I was like, I really concluded like people who don't like this movie just have sticks up their butts.
Yeah, I mean it's not a movie that it wasn't bad. I didn't find it was bad at all. I'm just frustrated that it could have been just so much
Yeah.
more.
What?
And I did hear a lot of those reviews, and
Yeah.
I was kind of uh, you know surprised by
Yeah.
that as well. But I will say there were some things that I read about, which was the end, and I do agree. I really hated that maze and how that came in. That was just so random, and it just took me out of the whole. I don't know. It was just it's so weird. It came
Yeah.
out of nowhere. It just didn't make sense. There was no setup for it, so it was just a little jarring. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like that, and I kind of agreed there. I just didn't like that setting. I feel like there was just
Oh,
so many other ways we could have gone with that.
come.
But whatever.
Which one of us hasn't just like happened to run into a maze
Dude,
while fighting for our lives?
I was in a maze yesterday, bro.
I mean, literally when I saw that, I was like, who would have one of those outside of their home? And even if you had one of those outside of your home, who would ever enter into it? Like, it's
Imagine your wife calling, "Hey, honey, you got to go trim the bushes in the maze." I didn't want the maze. You wanted the maze, so go trim the bushes.
it's just
Yeah, I
like
don't know. It was so strange.
yeah, it's just like such a preposterous thing that it
Yeah. We're in headquarters where they do all their business, and they
Yeah.
also have a maze in the backyard.
Yeah. So I agree. And I think the biggest knock on this movie for me is, like you said, Chris Evans did a good job. The character just was not a well it was not a well developed character. And I think you can say the same thing for a lot of the antagonists in this movie. They were very two dimensional. The main bad guy, played by that guy from that,
That
Netflix,
guy from that thing. Yeah.
yeah, that Netflix show. And then the Asian girl, like she was kind of annoying. She wasn't bad to look at, but she was.
Yo,
Jessica Henwick.
her wig was like terrible. I don't know what they
That
were
was,
doing
that
with that hot
was
piece, bro.
I didn't think that was a wig. I thought that was her hair.
I think she had it cut to that.
Wow, I apologize. I apologize
Um,
to your hairdresser.
but yeah, like she was pretty two dimensional. Like I think the bad guys, were not like super well developed.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I don't mind D-bags, but there's got to be a line. Like
yeah,
you can't just be a douchebag the whole time.
yeah,
Some
And if you
nuance.
are, yeah, if you are, then like let me in on your anger and your frustration. Show me that pain, baby boy. Let me know. Fill me in. I want to know why. Who hurt you? The same way they gave us that backstory with Gosling and how he has six now. Six was the guy. Oh, he only knows killing, but now all of a sudden he's got this girl that he cares for. Like they showed us, they gave us a little bit of him. They should have gave us a little bit of Lloyd Hansen as well, because I mean, you just can't you don't live life as long as you do at his age by being a dick 24/7. Like, and that was his MO from the moment we saw him on screen. He just had middle fingers up at everybody.
yeah.
I saw them
Well, I
spiritually, they
mean,
were
but they
there.
did say that he was a sociopath.
I understand that, but also sociopaths are able to have friends and they're able to converse with others and hold relationships.
Well, they're
For
definitely
him,
not that successful, I don't think.
Well, no,
no,
but
they're
like,
they're,
was
they're
it
not.
Dexter? Dexter was a sociopath, but he had like nuance to him,
Yes,
Yeah.
and
exactly.
like he was just so over the top with no nuance. It's just, hey, I'm a douche, and that's it.
It's
Yeah.
That's
like I,
my.
I feel like Chris Evans walked in and said, "All right, guys, what's my character?" And they just said sociopath, and he said, "Bet," and just went.
Yeah, no, all they really gave you was that he was in the program at one point and like quit or got kicked out. That's all they gave you.
Well, I think he was a CIA agent that got kicked out. I
Yeah.
don't
Whatever.
think he was. I don't think he was one of the whatever that was
Sierra.
No,
called.
no, 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 no. He was Carmichael's friend. Him and Carmichael came up. I think it was Harvard that they said.
Oh yeah, they with what's her name,
Yeah,
Susan.
exactly. So I think that's the only reason Lloyd Hansen got as far as he did but see, there's no
Ah,
relationship
it
between
was,
him and Carmichael. We don't see
but
anything.
yeah, it was like Iceman and Maverick. That's how he
Right. But
the
we're
Sierra
hearing it from
program.
Suzanne, like, oh yeah, Lloyd and Carmichael, they were growing up together, like, but we
Yeah.
don't see that, they just tell us that. So
Yeah.
and again, that's kind of a nitpick because this is a straight up action popcorn flick. So, but I think I'm just trying to pinpoint why exactly this isn't 100% go for me.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side of that, I did like what they revealed about Six
Mm-hmm.
with his father,
Mm-hmm.
because it
Wow.
actually, to what we were saying earlier, why he's so like cool under pressure. I mean, when your father tortured you, tried to drown you, and extinguished cigarettes on your arms,
Yeah.
you pretty much can handle, trains and airplanes, and just jumping out of a
Automobiles.
plane without a parachute. Um,
Yeah.
so I felt like it giving you, at least for me, it because yeah, you're like, how is this guy at this level, and
Right.
of
A little
course,
blip into his life.
yeah, of course, a lot of it was the training, but also his horrid past also, which was actually like, okay, do you want me to hate the father, or the father kind of made him into this piece? So it's like,
I should be thanking him.
is this a lesson for me about how to raise my daughter?
should I drown my son to the point that he understands that he needs to become an assassin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will. Can I say that the absolutely funniest part of the movie that had me howling was from Evans and Billy Bob when, or I guess let me use their character names, when Fitzroy busts out the word preternatural, and Lloyd Hansen says, "Don't say preternatural to me," because I literally said. When he said that word, I went, preternatural? What the hell does that mean? And then he came out right by. I applaud. I said, hell yeah. Don't hit me with no big words, man. I didn't.
Well,
You know what? Let me look that up. I got to see what this is. It didn't bother me at the time, but I don't like when like these crazy words that aren't used in normal conversation are used. But the way they beautifully followed that up, I was okay with it. Beyond what is normal or natural is preternatural.
oh, okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'll
But
use
that
that.
scene was hilarious. That was a chef kiss right there for me.
And not only that, I mean, Ryan Gosling, his comedic timing and delivery is so impeccable. I mean, there's lines in this movie that when he says them, they're so funny, and any other actor would not be able to land them the way that he does.
Yeah.
So guys, just you were talking about what do you call like automatic? What? How did you describe it? Like people that
He
are,
he was casual, man. Everything he was doing was just
An
casual.
automatic watch.
yeah, like an automatic watch though. He's one of those for me, pretty much, man.
Oh, that's you,
He
my
does
Brad
not
Pitt.
he does not disappoint.
No, yeah, that's true. Everything about him was just cool and collected, but that's just what his character was, and I think that's just why it worked out so great because I mean he played it beautifully.
You know why you thought that girl was wearing a wig? Because she was sitting in a room that got blown up by a rocket launcher, and literally not a hair was misplaced on her head. The
She
next thing,
stood up, but she still had that little puff. Everything was beautiful.
yeah. But I do have a question for you guys, and I'd like Kevin to be the first one to answer since
Okay, I'm
he
up.
hasn't spoken for a while. But
There's not much
Sorry.
for me to say.
I usually
So,
take over my. That's right. This guy's been bad mouthing the whole time. I'm trying to drown him out over here.
Six and the little girl, if you recall, towards the end, jump off a bridge into what I can only assume is freezing cold water because this is in Eastern Europe somewhere. Um, can someone with a pacemaker truly survive that jump into freezing water?
yes.
You think so?
From
Yeah.
what I understand, yes.
Okay.
There's no. The only issue that you have with a pacemaker is purely electronic. Like, if you have something that's happened, it's because electronically it's being affected.
Mm.
Now, if she was using a microwave, it would have been different.
Right. If she was holding a microwave when she fell in the water, that's a different story. But no, that is not unheard of.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
I guess the
No,
real
I was.
question is, for
I'm sorry.
someone with a real heart, could they land that?
Yeah. Right.
I thought the question I have for y'all, because I'm not very versed in Europe. I know Mark's been there. I know Juan loves Europe.
What the hell? Not
Is
versus man?
listen, you've been, but
Doesn't make me
I know
ver-
this movie took place in like Berlin, Czech Republic, all this stuff. I don't know how long it takes to get between those places, but these people were showing up at places really quick.
Honestly, yeah, it's not that bad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, again, I don't
when
know,
I've
but like,
done Euro trips, I've taken a train 2 hours and I'm in a whole nother world.
Yeah.
because I know when Anna's character had to go there, like she was like in Berlin, he was somewhere else in Prague, and she was just there to save him. I'm like, whoa, that was quick. And
I mean,
again, I'm just saying honestly, I don't know how
yeah.
close everything is to each
I
other.
mean, if geographically speaking, what they're saying is these places are close by, meaning there's no water separating them. there's no reason why they can't take a train and get there within a couple hours. But I don't know where things are on a map, and if Berlin is here and then there's a large body of water and then I forgot where he went is over here, then yeah, it's not possible. But
Yeah.
if it's connected by land, I mean, not even. I freaking went to Venice. I
Yeah.
I stopped off in Venice from where was I? Rome. That was like a 3 hour bus, not bus,
Gondola
train.
ride?
No,
Oh,
train.
okay.
They had a train take you in. There's only one way in, one way out by train, but no, it's doable. It is doable.
All right.
It's not the U.S., bro. Going from Florida to California, no, I gotta get on a plane.
Okay.
It's not like that.
All right.
I do have another question. At this point, based on everything we've seen, if the Wachowskis were to retire, can you convince me that there's better candidates to direct the next Matrix movie than the Russo brothers?
I
And who would it be?
Well, no, I'm fine even if the Wachowskis don't retire. If someone else takes over the Matrix.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that
are
was
we
just a hypothetical, but who? Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that to me, the Russos should direct the Matrix movie.
So you're trying to keep it in this sibling group, like there's two people that have to direct?
No, no.
That's fine. Or
'Cause then
directing duo.
I'll throw out. Listen, I really enjoy Stranger Things, so I can see the Duffer Brothers doing some.
That's good.
But if we're sticking with couples, like two people, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
There's some,
are there more than two Duffer brothers? Isn't another?
no,
No,
but
it's
I'm
two.
saying there's the Duplass brothers. I would get
Oh,
them. Like
okay.
there's many.
Dude,
There, I mean, are we looking for a straight like
No,
tooth and
no.
nail
because
Matrix?
there's a
Then we could get the Coens. Like
well, there's Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
You went too deep now. I don't
Do you
know
know who
who that.
that? Oh
No.
man, they did the Lego movie. They did Into the Spider-Verse. Those
Oh,
movies.
sorry, man. You got kids. Well, I have a kid now, but you have older kids.
Into the Spider-Verse is good. Leave it alone.
I did see that once, and I did
What?
enjoy it. But no,
What?
I did. Yeah, I did
Just
enjoy
what?
it.
That movie's amazing.
It really is.
I listen. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, wow, that was really good. But I don't know. Like, it's
Well,
tough
they
for me
also
to.
they did
Huh?
21 Jump Street, by the way. Also,
Okay. Well, it's tough for me to watch a movie where like the lead character is a child, because I can't relate. When I have a child that can now watch these movies, I would gladly watch it with him because then I'm just gonna be like looking at him and like, oh, what'd you think of that, bud? And talking to him with it. Um, but I did see it once and I liked it. I just I can't pull myself to hit play again while I'm sitting down, drinking beer and eating hot wings or whatever.
Peter Parker is always a child, teenager.
Teenager, yes, not a child, teenager.
So
But
he
he's the
was
same age
he
as
was
Miles.
right into
and
the Spider Verse.
and what?
He's a teenager and into the Spider Verse.
No, I think.
Miles Morales was a teenager. Yeah, he was in high school.
He's in high school.
Well, yeah, it's still tough. I don't know.
And
I
the
don't
Peter
know.
Parker in Into the Spider-Verse is a grown
Listen,
person.
I didn't say it's a bad movie. I feel like I'm being crucified because I've only seen it once. I didn't think it was a bad movie. I'm just saying I've only seen it once. Anyways, let's get back
Okay.
to the
But
movie that we are. Oh
Spider-Man's
my,
your favorite comic book character.
he absolutely is 100%. And I watch all the Tobey movies, all the Garfield movies, and oh I don't remember the last guy's name. Holland, all the Holland movies. I watch those all, but I can't bring my I don't know. I can't bring myself to watching animated. I don't know, man. I can't explain it, all right? I watch
Anyway,
cartoons,
the
but
question was, who would
Fair enough.
you pick to direct the Matrix movie?
I mean right off rip, sorry, Kevin was first.
No, I said quiet. I was like, I know I said Miller and Lord, but that was about it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, if we're looking at action, you can't go wrong with the Russos. And the Matrix, I mean, while the story was okay, it started getting convoluted, and people don't watch The Matrix because it's a great story. They watch it because of the visual effects and the action. So it's hard to say that anyone could do a better job than the Russo brothers. I would have to agree with him.
Yeah,
The
it would be good because
first one's a
the
great
characters are
story.
already created. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, the first one's a great story. Although,
Well, yes, yeah.
I would never not throw Chris Nolan's name in the hat, but I do think action. It's Russo's.
I
stick
know, but
to
see,
take it.
that question threw me off, man. Like I thought you were looking for like a duo. If you were looking for
I don't know why. I don't know
Tarantino.
why you made that leap.
I don't know why either. Because then
Okay.
you know what? I would say Dan Trachtenberg. The guy that's only made 2 movies. But they're 2 great movies for me. No. I mean, the reason why I love Captain America Winter Soldier, the story is good. But dude, the hand to hand between Bucky and Captain America, and there was even a little knife flip in this one where Lloyd caught the knife and stabbed Six. But like the knife flip was just so fluid, and the bus scene and him running through cars and the audio, like everything was just they do that great, and I think that worked great for this movie. You know, the audio was fantastic. I agree 100%. Everything sounded wonderful. I again,
take notes, Chris Nolan.
Yeah. Again, I don't think there was anything wrong with the I don't think it was too dark. That was for me. I think Kevin needs to upgrade his TV. Christmas time. Let's go. Let's do it.
I do not have 4K.
I thought everything was truly Russo, but when it came to the script, they had too many ambitions, and I feel like they should have just stuck to what they know. Hey, this is the guy that we're following. Let's stick with him. And that's just, I mean, it's such a small thing, but it really is holding me back from saying, man, this movie was top notch. Like this is on Russo's top 5. I'm sorry, top 3. They haven't made that many, so it is going to be a top 5.
I was like, they've made like 5 movies. Oh, okay, they made more than that.
Let somebody else talk while I start looking, because I gotta look at some real quick.
There's no way this is in our top 3, by the way, from what I'm looking at.
Really?
It's not in their top 3. Yeah, no, it's not top.
They did 2 Captain Americas and 2 Avengers.
Yeah, but dude, Extraction is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'm like,
no, bro. Extraction is everything you could want in a movie. I mean, even the story is so minimal, but it's enough.
They didn't direct it though.
Huh?
They didn't direct it, so I'm looking at it.
Oh, Extraction.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they didn't.
It's saying
I thought they did do. Did they do? I thought they had done another Netflix one though before this one.
Well, Extraction, but I think they produced and wrote it.
See, I know their name was attached.
Sam Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Sorry.
So never mind then.
Sam Hargrave was the director.
So maybe it is a top 3. Maybe this is a top 3 for them. Because the other one they did with Holland, I forgot what it was called. Apparently that one bombed. It was terrible. I don't remember.
Cherry? Was it Cherry?
No.
It was Cherry.
Cherry was one of the. Yes, I think that was. They did another one, I think, with Holland. Or was that just interesting? Oh, they were producers for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm going off track. Well, I'm wondering. Interesting. So they're not. So never mind. Extraction doesn't count. It is still phenomenal though.
I still watch it.
And if they had to say it, I mean, it's definitely something to look at. How can you look up Russo brothers? Russo.
I just looked up. I just looked up Russo brothers
on Google.
Yeah, I'm on their wiki page.
I'm on IMDb. That's why I got to get off this.
All right.
But anyway,
Sorry,
but listen.
Yeah.
No, I was saying like they did Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and you would put this above two of those?
Oh, they did You, Me, and Dupree. You can't put that over You, Me, and Dupree.
I would put this up there with them. I would say it ties with one of
Ties
those.
with what? Which one?
Civil War.
I
Civil
like
War.
Civil
Oh, yeah.
War. I do like Civil War actually. I mean, I think Endgame, or yeah, I think maybe Endgame.
You can't, bro. There's no way. There's too. Well, okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So-
I went through it in my mind. There's too many good scenes, but it's not because of the Russos. It's just because.
Yeah, because they're comic.
Yeah, it's just
I
good.
would say
Yeah.
fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion, is
Yeah.
what I can
Yeah.
say.
No, he got me. He stopped me. He stunned me. He hit me with the 1-2.
Man, I had something really good to say earlier and I lost it and it's not coming back to me.
My friend, that means it wasn't good, and the
Yeah.
Lord did you a favor.
It wasn't meant to be.
It was the gray man of thoughts.
Yeah.
The Gray Man of Thoughts. I like that. Well, there is a Gray Man 2 coming.
Get out of here.
And a spinoff.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Nope.
they're working on a Gray Man 2, which I mean it makes sense. You still have this, character who's a part of this organization that no longer exists. So
Is
I feel like
Gosling signed on for it?
Yes.
I
And the
yeah,
Russos.
I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be, because I know the Russo. So but it makes sense. I
And
mean, he's a loose end, bro. So his story's really not over.
you still have numbers 1, 2, 3, and 5 out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh boy,
We didn't get a lot of info about them.
They burned out or something. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And all of a sudden they're gonna wake up and go, "We're not burned out anymore." All right, fair enough.
I will say I half expected there to be a secret number 7 come out towards the end.
Well, no, because he mentioned the 00 reference, the 007 reference.
Yeah. So when I think when Chris Evans got shot, I was like, before I saw it was her, I was like, oh, is that another agent who's been watching him the whole time? But no.
Anna de Armas is becoming another one. It's like, I'll watch anything she's in, because she acts, I mean, phenomenal. Anything that she does. I'm actually excited to see her in Maryland.
Blonde.
Or yeah, sorry, blonde. My bad. Her take on Marilyn Monroe is sounds pretty good so far.
Yeah. Should be all right.
She was really good. Have I seen her? Because I know who she is, but I can't think of other movies I've seen her in.
She was in the last Bond movie.
I did not see that yet.
And yeah, she's been in other stuff.
Yeah, I know, because I know she's famous, and I've heard her all over the place. But I was very pleasantly surprised.
Oh, she was in Knives Out. She was in Knives Out.
I haven't seen it. So yeah.
Okay, I can't help you then.
You haven't seen Knives Out? Wow.
Apparently a lot of kid movies.
Kid movies. Hey,
I'll say they're for my children, but they're not. They're not for my kids. I would watch them without them. But let me see. Oh, she was in Blade Runner 2049. I did see Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, with Ryan Gosling.
With Ryan Gosling.
I already had that connection.
I will say, just looking back, thinking back, for me, that fireworks scene, that airplane scene, that bench when he's handcuffed scene, that train scene, like each one of those is like worth the price of admission. And then you put them all together in one movie, you got yourself a pretty good movie there.
I will agree on the price of admission because I watched it on my brother's Netflix and I didn't pay anything.
You got to stick to your butt, buddy. Let it out.
Oh boy.
Release.
Well,
Release
so I
the
guess
crack.
Juan, with that declaration, are you ready to do some reviews?
Yeah, we might as well.
I mean, I kind of already feel like I know where you're going with yours. So, The wild card is me, and I think we already know what Kevin's doing.
Well, let me. What if I tell you this, Mark, to try to entice you to rate higher than you might?
Yeah.
Um, every popcorn action movie that's this action filled and this much fun should always end with a Black Keys song, like this one did.
Understandable, understandable. Now but you do have to remember. I review strict. I am a 1, 2, 3 guy. So
Oh, can I say, you know what annoyed me here? Like, which I guess Chris Evans did say, like, oh, you have an $8 haircut.
yeah,
But that really was a terrible haircut. It was so surprising because if Ryan Gosling is known for anything, is for always being so stylish.
yeah. Well, I mean, it worked out, but I guess they did that on purpose, right?
I guess. And he had a goatee too on top of it.
I don't know, man. $6 more, and that's where you find me. So I don't. I ain't scoffing at
Dude, I was like, that ain't too far from me either, man.
Yes, I can't. I'm not gonna judge. I won't judge at that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess let the wild go.
Where the wild things are. So this was my pick. I was the one that said, guys, let's watch The Gray Man by the Russo brothers, starring Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. And I wish I got more Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. Outside of that, I wasn't really upset with the movie. I enjoyed everything that I saw. I will end up watching this again. So just because it's not something that I wanted, I can't review it any other way. It is a Three Little Jerry's for me. I am gonna watch it again. I've already watched it multiple times. There really, it's funny. There really isn't anything memorable, but I can't not see Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans do what they do. I thought they did their parts so well that it was just enjoyable that I was like, you know what? I don't care that they didn't interact together as much as they did. I don't care that they brought in this new maze scene that just kind of took me out of everything. Yeah, it's whatever. It's all silly choices, but at the end of the day, it's just mindless action for me, and that's what I look for. And that's yeah. I would watch it again. It doesn't. It's funny. It doesn't rank high for me for the Russos, but seeing as there hasn't been that much action, like good action movies recently, this one it was enjoyable enough for me to go, yeah, I could watch this again and again and again. So, yeah, that's that's the Three Little Jerry's for me, and I'm keeping my personal, my personal vendettas out of it.
Mark, was since you enjoyed this movie like I did, was it just me or was this intentional? Because again, we've never seen Ryan Gosling in this type of role.
Hmm.
And I feel like they were playing, especially with his clothing, like what size are you for? Are you a 42 large?
Yeah,
Like that kept coming up.
yeah,
And like we've never seen him in a uniform, like almost like a superhero.
yeah.
Like, so was it just me or did you feel like it was building up? And then finally, when he like uh, beats up those guards or kills them, and then he's like, "Are you a 42 large?" And you're like, "Oh, he's about to put on a uniform," you know? Like, dude, I was hyped up, man, and I was like excited because like you already seen him kicking butt, but like
Yeah.
you've never seen him like outfitted like that, and then finally when he shows up like that, I'm like, oh man, this guy, I don't know, I'm just maybe it's just my man crush.
I mean it's hard not to crush on those two. Um I do think that they're and why they mentioned 007. I feel like they're trying to do
Yeah.
kind of like a Bond-esque character,
Hmm.
where we're focusing on one person. So I do think we're gonna get a couple more movies and more stories for this guy. I don't think it's gonna be as big as Bond because the Bond is it's a program. So it's a little different. Um, but yeah, it's just I do think that they were trying to set up for like this standalone household character that you guys could start talking about. And I think the whole talking about size and show because I mean he was dressed nice most of the time. Even when he cleaned up in that crazy guy's house in the well, I mean he still cleaned up very nice. So
Oh,
I
sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
so I feel like they're trying to set us up for a character is kind of like Bond.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was either Bond or like setting him up for like the Marvel universe, which is like always teased.
Yeah,
Like when will we get like a Ryan Gosling or a Leo DiCaprio, or a
yeah,
Brad Pitt in the MCU.
yeah.
So I
Oh my
felt like they
God, it's Jason Bourne.
either one of those. But
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say, dude. Wow, you just reminded me. How crazy was it that photographer trapped him in that pit
Hmm.
is the guy that played Pablo Escobar and
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, it was so weird. It was
yeah,
a little jarring because he was so skinny.
yeah,
And I remember him being he's a very round, plump boy.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was nice to see him because that Narcos is great, man.
All right, Kevin, have at it.
All right, now that the love fest is over. But
Shut up.
I'm kidding. I do want to speak to one thing that I thought was really cool about this. There was a lack of a random sex scene, which I half expected also. So no, so I was like, oh, they're gonna throw something in here, and there wasn't, and I actually appreciate it because while I personally would never go out of my way to re-see this movie, um, Phoenix and Harley walked in on the second half, and they kept asking questions, and if they wanted to rewatch it, I wouldn't have a problem with them watching this movie.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, my opinion of my rating is bolstered by the fact that we spent 10 to 20 minutes of a podcast reviewing this movie talking about some other movies and who can direct these other movies because like I said it's just this movie to me was dull, and there's more interesting things to talk about besides it. And so with that, I will give it a 1.75 because I won't go out of my
Oh,
way to rewatch it. But like I said, if my daughters want to rewatch it, I would never recommend it to anybody. But I have no problem with anyone if they told me they watch it, or like you guys, you loved it because I believe everyone experienced cinema their own way. If you loved it, my kudos to you guys. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't like oh disgusting. It's just nothing that I would want to rewatch. I'm not looking forward to the sequels. So unless y'all pick it and we're still doing this podcast, then probably won't watch the sequel. And so I give it a 1.75.
that's higher than I thought you were gonna give it. So that's not bad.
Man, he lying. He gonna watch Great Man too.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Well,
Kevin,
maybe if my daughters want to see it. But yeah,
by,
my daughter.
by, by the way, the sequel's gonna be for kids,
Uh-huh.
so you can watch it.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that meant, but all right.
Because you just said you watch kid movies. Oh my goodness.
No, I just said I would watch it if my daughters wanted to go see it. I'm like, I would spend time with them, but I'm not going to see it for myself.
All right.
I find that highly unlikely, but all right.
Listen, man, I haven't seen Bond yet, so
I guess that is
Okay.
true.
For me, again, I did enjoy this a lot. Ryan Gosling delivers once again. Um, for me, more he. I mean, I didn't think this was gonna be as good a combination as it was. I do think the Russo brothers are really good. I'm not looking it up, and I don't remember exactly, but I know there was one movie that they did that I found a little disappointing. So I was hesitant, but yeah, I thought it was a match made in heaven between them, and Ryan Gosling in particular. Um, unlike Mark, though, I do find things memorable. Like, I definitely want to watch that fireworks scene again, even the beginning in that club with the colors and then the slow motion. That plane scene, I could watch that again. That train scene, I could watch that again. Again, that scene in the park where he's handcuffed. Even that final battle. Like, I thought all those things were awesome. And again, I even as I hear myself, even I'm surprised, because I'm the snob out of the three of us, but I don't know. I just uh, Gosling, just he has a way of just like of sucking you in, and guy just has screen presence, and I find him just an awesome movie star. So, and again, that combination with the Russo brothers, who are, as we all agreed, pretty much at the top when it comes to like action right now and action sequences, and it, and so yeah, for me it was a three, and I mean, I definitely want to watch it again.
All right. I will say with Gosling, I'd like to suck him in.
And I would recommend it. Although, to anyone I recommended it to, I'd say, hey, go ahead and remove that stick from your butt before you go on and watch this, and you'll love it, my friend.
I will say this podcast does say something about going in with lowered expectations. Again, maybe my expectation was too high, yours were low, and you loved it, and mine was high, and I was like,
Yeah,
Lowered
that is interesting.
expectations.
Expectations definitely play a role. I know there's been several movies, where we've talked about the hype, going into it, and that is an element, that impacts, how you at least respond or feel, about what's presented. So, yeah.
The beauty about being a snob, though, is that your bar is so low when we pick a movie that you're just, I mean, there's nowhere to go but up,
When you start with rage and you end in elation, like, that that was
That's good, man. That's a butterfly metamorphosis right there.
maybe that's what caused it want to be enthralled. This is good.
No lie. I thought I was gonna have to chop this up with Kevin the whole time because I thought Juan was gonna be like, "Yo, why are you wasting my life? My child hates me because I took away 2 hours I could have gave to her." And here we got the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I think I might be onto something.
Maybe I shouldn't watch this again, because maybe I'll see all the things I should have hated the first time.
Hey, it doesn't matter. We were recording this, so you're in. You're locked in, baby.
Yeah.
Wait, did you give a review? How many?
Oh yeah, I said 3.
Yes.
How many did you say? You said how many did you say?
3.
Oh, you said 3.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that.
I know you gave a review. I didn't remember you giving a score.
I meant the score, not the review.
Yeah.
I think
3.
I was just you kept talking about like Gosling and Evans. I just kept thinking about him. That's my bad. I got lost in the sauce.
3 for me, 3 for you. By the way, I saw a picture. Speaking of Chris Evans,
Yeah.
I think it was on Instagram. It was him and three random ladies. Apparently, he showed up at his 20-year-old high school reunion.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had a name tag on that said Chris.
Just in case you guys forgot. I know it's been a while. It's pretty good. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm glad, Juan. I'm thrilled that you enjoyed it. Anytime you like my pick, I sleep good that night. I want you to know how much you've affected my life.
I just picture you laying your head down on the pillow with a smile.
My wife's gonna be like, "Oh, good night tonight." I said, "Yep, Juan like my pick." She's like, "Get in bed, baby. Let's go. Let's celebrate the day." Oh man. Well, oh man, it's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Oh yeah. It's been delightful. I've been enthralled by this conversation.
I like that. Kevin's
I am
been unenthralled.
I'm unenthrallable.
Yes, you are. All right, gents. Till next time.
Love you.
To
Love you.
close a Ruski.